It's so interesting because I feel like one of the hardest things about having conversations with anybody in general is breaking the ice. I feel like I always struggle to break the ice, and the first approach, breaking the ice, all the same shit, right? Because if you're like me, or I feel like most humans can have a conversation. I can go up to anybody and ask them, like, if I was, let's say I'm at the gym, right? I can go up to someone and be like, oh, how many steps do you have left? I'm not like nervous or I don't have like super anxiety or stress about doing that, right? Or if I'm talking to a coworker, I can have a long 2 hour, 3 hour conversation, just us going back and forth, right? It could be a woman, a man, it doesn't matter. And so I found myself struggling to approach women at the gym, right? And I kept thinking and thinking. I was like, what is the problem? Like, why am I struggling to do this? Because it makes no sense if I'm able to hold and talk and have good conversations with men and women, and I'm not scared to like randomly approach someone with a question in hand or whatever the case may be. But it's the whole idea of like, and I also thought, like, I'm not really that scared of rejection or whatever the case may be. So in my head, it made no sense for me not to be able to approach women. But then when I find myself in the scenario where I'm like, yo, that girl over there is kind of cute, let me go talk to her, I start freezing up, right? I was watching this video, and the guy was talking about, in situations people typically have two options, fight or flight, but they don't realize there's a third one, freeze. And I feel like I freeze. And that's like the worst case. That's like making no decision, and indecision is the worst decision. And so I'm still trying to figure out and manufacture the reason why I start freezing up, because it's really such a simple concept. All you have to do is just go up and say hi, or where you from, or what's your name, or whatever the case may be. And typically when you have like this concept of it, like from a third person point of view, is so simple. All you have to do is go up and say something to someone. Like, it's so simple, because the conversation after that typically flows pretty natural. It's smooth, and the whole like fear behind it is just the initial approach, which is breaking the ice, because it might be awkward. I feel like I struggle with. I feel like it might be too awkward, or maybe I say something that's like weird or not typical for other humans to interact with. It's like, these are all things I make up in my head, which make no sense, because most conversations that you would have with another person should be like, you would think you would say something normal. It's not like I've never talked to a human before, right? So I hate that my brain starts making up all these little weird scenarios. But I have a I feel like the easiest way to do it is when you're already, like, let's just say in the gym. If the easiest way to talk to a woman is when you guys are like sharing a machine, or you're asking for her weight or whatever she's using or whatnot, right? So what I'm gonna do to build up the skill myself, I've already done it once, right? I'll be on a machine, some girl came up, she's like, oh, can I join in? I was like, whatever. And at the end, I actually was curious about something about her form, because it was really good for a machine that I don't really like using. And so I asked her, and then we just started talking. And I was like, you see how simple it was? All I had to do was just ask a question. And like, typically I know people say go into approaching a woman with a compliment. I don't like doing that shit. I don't like giving out compliments. I feel like it puts you in a weird position, and you're showing too much interest too fast. That might just be for me, but you can do that. It's not my cup of tea, so I won't do that. So, but I'm a very curious person. So if I just go in with a curious question, they're gonna answer, right? And after that, you can just have a normal conversation. I'm not like trying to hit or trying to do nothing crazy. I just really want to gain the skill of conversing and approaching, because I think it's very important for someone to learn how to take that risk, per se, because a lot of people are scared to take those risks. And so if I can get myself in a position to learn it and have that risk, I can take the risk in this situation. We're talking to women, or taking the risk of starting a business, or it's just the self-trust and self-esteem that you're building within yourself. That's the whole reason I'm doing it. And I feel like it's a much better way for me to put it inside my head, because now I'm not doing it for the idea of like trying to get with a woman, because that's not the goal for me. The whole point is to build up my skill set and my ability to do it. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's the approach I try to take with everything. Everything's a skill, and if I put myself in positions to learn it, I will learn it with time and practice. And so putting it in that sort of, frame where it's like, this is for me to learn and get better and put myself out of my comfort zone to build my self-esteem and self-trust. I really like that method of, and I feel like if you want to put it that way so you can also learn, that's good. But yeah, I'm gonna try. I already talked to a girl at the gym. I'm gonna try doing it every single day. I'm gonna try talking to one, like, that whole typical like challenge to do is like talk to a new person every day, talk to a stranger every day. I'm essentially gonna do that, but with women specifically, so that I can just get the skill of approaching and breaking the ice. Because once I do it, I won't think about like how it's so scary, and I'll realize like, hey, I did this, I can do it again. And then the self-trust will allow me to be like, when I took the risk of talking to a woman, a very low risk thing, when it comes to high risk things, I'll still have that self-trust. I'll be like, okay, when it came to that scenario, I figured things out. This scenario, I know I'll figure things out as I go along. And it's just the anxiety that comes with it in the beginning that really eats at you. But I feel like that self-trust beats up the anxiety. So that's what I'm trying to build now. I think I'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try building the skill. I don't care how long it takes, as long as because I know I'm gonna get the skill eventually. I just need to keep doing it. That's the mind you gotta have.